Hello. Hello. Firstly, welcome to the people that have joined us after lunch. Sorry I wasn't able to join you last time at training, so hello to all those new people who are joining us for the first time for camp, and nice to see you again if you are a returning member of staff. So following on from David's safeguarding training this morning, so those of you that weren't with us, we've spent the morning with David going through our safeguarding training. We just want to pick up to start with safeguarding at camp. What's our procedures going to be? How can we keep ourselves safe? And then I'm going to look at the week of camp. There are points during the afternoon that I'm going to get you to get up, to move, to go and interact with other people. So just bear with me to start with. So safeguarding at camp. Hannah, PD, Director Hannah, is going to be our safeguarding lead, and then I'm going to pick up that deputy role. This morning we talked about whistle blowing. So if you are not happy with how either of us are dealing with our safeguarding on camp, our whistle blowing person is Pastor Luke. He's not here, but we will identify him so you all know who he is when we are at the commissioning service. We're going to do a training before we leave to go to camp. So if you're not happy, go and speak to Luke. Although he is on camp and he's going to be there, he is the pastor of Cap City Church, which is our lead, which is our sponsoring church. Okay, so that's why. Why have we got a lead and a deputy? Well, it's more about logistics. There might be a point where something happens on camp. Hannah can't get to you, but I can. But I will talk about how we are going to work together as well. But Hannah will be the person that will be contacting social services, etc., to make those referrals down the line. So, if a child discloses something to you, or you feel the need that you've recognised something or something doesn't sit right to you, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so we will find somebody near you to swap in. There'll be lots of people around camp. There'll be Des Eyes, there'll be family team, there'll be extra people around you. So we will ask somebody, or you will need to ask somebody to just swap in with you. Okay, find someone then who's got a radio, and we're going to ask you then to say, does anybody have eyes on Hannah or Ali, because so-and-so needs to visit the garage. Now, why have we chosen the garage? We used to use the drying room as our kind of code word for needs to kind of step out. We need to do a safeguarding disclosure form. We have a drying room on camp. So it's no good to say we need to go to the drying room, because actually maybe you do need to go to the drying room to get your swim stuff or your towel or whatever. Okay, so our code word... Our code word this year, okay, is going to be that you need to go to the garage. There is no garage on camp, so we're aware that we need to just swap in and give you time to step out so that you can fill out a form. And say that could be because the child has decided they want to disclose something to you, or you've recognised something, you've seen something. Now, Gemma, give us a wave, Gemma. Nurse, yeah. Okay, so we've had a kind of a brief chat this morning. Swimming, first time we go swimming, is kind of a big kind of time when the first time you see the children in their cosy, etc., and you might notice there's bruising, there's scratches, there's bumps, etc. Kids are kids. We might be playing on the swings and they bump themselves, etc. So when the kids first arrive at camp, we have the body maps that are done, so we know what bumps and bruises they come with. We also then add to that, hopefully not very much, but children are children. Okay, they might trip over, scrape their knee, but so we'll have a record of what has happened on camp. Okay, but we'll also have a record of what we recognise. And if you see something and you think, I'm not quite sure about that, report it. Okay, please, we'd rather have more, okay, than not, and the jigsaw doesn't come together. Okay. So if a child does decide they want to disclose something to you, okay, and they want to tell you something, don't. This is just kind of following up from this morning. Promise to keep a secret. okay? Let them know that you will need to tell Hannah or Ali, okay, that you're going to pass the information on. You cannot promise to keep a secret with them. If they decide they don't want to tell you anymore, fine, they might come back to you another point in the week. If they decide actually they want to go and tell Hannah themselves, fine, we'll track down Hannah, okay? So, but again, reiterating what David said, please, we're not promising, we want to keep their best interests at heart, okay? Don't ask any leading questions, okay? But you might ask for clarification, okay? I wonder what you mean by, Anna this morning said, cookies, okay? Some families use different words for different things. It could be, oh, what do you mean by the word cookies? Oh, it's biscuits that we eat. They've got like chocolate chips in them. Fine. But, or they might say something else. What does cookies mean to them in their context? Okay. Don't get your pen and paper out. Oh, somebody wants to write. Okay. David did talk about older children. Maybe you make a disclosure form together. Generally, our children are much younger, but that could still be an option if it's an older child. Okay, listen and be present. We did the activity this morning where someone was talking and then you weren't allowed to make eye contact. Be present, but you're not staring them out. Okay, it needs to be kind of natural. And it might be that rather than front on, we're side to side. Okay, you might be sat on the bank, you might be sat on a bench. If you're a family member or an extra kind of, if you're Des Eyes, and you kind of see a conversation that you think, Mary, you could just be, because you're supporting the big or whoever's there, okay, as an extra support. And you can have that conversation with that other adult after, okay? It's okay to do that, okay? When visiting the garage, that's not a physical place, okay? We will ask you to complete a disclosure form. What is on there? So the context at camp, okay? Jackie mentioned this morning that they were having a conversation about death and that initially it was fine. Is there a context? Were you doing a particular activity? Was the conversation off the back of something that there'd been a discussion as your family pod or something like that? So putting a little bit of context can sometimes be helpful. Use the child's own words. Don't make inferences, assumptions about a situation. We are using the child's own words to represent what they have said. Okay. Please make sure you sign the form. Okay, so then we're not having to chase you back through. We will be meeting at regular points, okay, during the day to check in, what forms do we have, what action are we going to take. We will then feed back to you what has then happened, okay? So Hannah will have significantly more information than you will have about the child, about their background, about their links to social services, etc., etc. Okay, so David talked about steps this morning. It might be something that social services are already well aware of, Hannah's already well aware of, and we know the context. It might be something that is new. So there's different stages that will happen in the background, and we will feed that back to you. For the majority of the week, they're in our care and they should be safe. So they're not in immediate danger in terms of going back to that situation. But on the last day, that could be a bit different. So if a child discloses something to you on the last day, we will need to know pretty quickly, particularly if it involves the situation they're then about to go back into. And then obviously that takes priority, has to be dealt with there and then straight away. Okay. Now, safeguarding yourself, safeguarding us as a group at camp. We have our 2 deep rule. That's about looking out for each other, not putting ourselves in a situation where we could be accused of doing something which doesn't sit right with the safeguarding. Okay, so we're never ever going to be alone with a child. We are 2 deep with other members of staff. Okay, purple lanyards. So as staff on camp, you will have purple lanyards. It will have your name on. Okay, now DBS checked and safeguard trained. Yes, but As we talked about this morning, DBS is a bit of paper. It says out of date as soon as it's been done. We might have done safeguarding training, okay, but we don't know everybody to the point of knowing inside out and backwards. So we need to look out for each other, okay? We need to never put ourselves in a situation where we are not being safeguarded ourselves. This year, any visitors, so last year, every visitor had to sign in, they had to read our safeguarding declaration, they signed their phones in. I think some visitors from previous got a bit of a shock. They'll have red lanyards on, so it'll be even clearer that they are a visitor on camp, okay? They are not, I'm just like, okay, you are a visitor on camp. Okay, but just to flag that even more visually for us, that's useful, that they should never ever be alone. They shouldn't be wandering camp. They will always be escorted. There are places like the dining hall, the main hall, where they don't have to be like physically attached to their escorting person because we've got Des eyes. But if you see that visitor walking to the exit, oh, hold on, where are you heading? Because you're not allowed out here. It's a bit like a child. You, in effect, treat them as a child because they're not allowed to be going anywhere. Okay. Photography. Where's Beth? There we go. Photography, Beth. There will be official cameras used on camp. Those are the only cameras that will allow photos to be taken. So if you're new to camp, we love the fact that the children make many, many memories over the week, and they have a photo book that they take home. In that photo book, there are pictures of them and no other children unless they have a sibling on camp. The photos are really, really controlled. There'll be pictures of us with the kids, etc., but they get to take their memories home. At the end of camp, the photos that are taken are stored securely. So they don't go public, they're not on social media, because we're safeguarding the children. But you don't want to be accused of being in a position that you've taken a photograph of a child not on a camp camera. So we will have tags on the so Beth's got an amazing big camera, and we've got a few others that we gave to the bigs and some of the activity centre. So they'll have little tags on them that say this is an official camp camera that photos will be taken on. Okay. So just we're trying to keep ourselves safe so that nobody can be accused of anything, and we're looking out for each other. Phones. First of all, before we leave Cardiff to go to camp, we will need to turn off our location services. Each day you're going to sign your phone in. There'll be a big box in the staff room, sign-in sheet, sign it in. At the end of the day, you can sign it out. That doesn't mean that if you're on your break, you can't come into the staff room and check your phone. You can do, but you're not allowed to leave that area with it. Yeah, if you can find your phone, I mean, we could set up a phone shop. Turn your alarms off. Yeah, turn your alarms off, yes. So this is about, again, keeping ourselves safe. If you, Hannah has a camp phone that if during the day, and we pass that number out to you to pass on to family, your next of kin, that if you needed to be got hold of because something had happened, then there will be option for that to happen. And then if we need to, we get you and you can go get your phone and make calls, etc. Okay, so that there are ways around. Why do we turn off location services? Camp is at a secret location. Some of you may have been there before, but we do not. We do not publicise the location, okay? So if, not by any means that anybody would mean to, had a conversation, oh, I'm going to camp and it's here, and then somebody you know passes that information on. Some of our young people, they are not allowed contact with certain people in their family or wider. If it got out and somebody who wasn't allowed contact, or even the family turned up at camp, we would have to remove all of our children and staff and take them to a safe place, because camp then is no longer a safe place. So this is about protecting our young people. It's about protecting us, okay? So we're turning our location services off. Okay, physical contact. Lots of hugs been going on today, which has been amazing. So in terms of what is not allowed, no frontal hugs. So you'll have to use them all during training and commissioning service. Okay, no piggybacks, no sitting on laps. Okay, just we need to model appropriate behaviour. Okay, in terms of physical contact, there's nothing wrong with physical contact, and actually appropriate is quite reinforcing. It's affectionate. But it might be we have to go to our side hugs, it might be high fives, it might be just like an elbow or a fist pump, okay? Something that there's an acknowledgement in there, okay? But frontal hugs, if you're a small child, not good at certain levels. Again, we're sitting, if you're cross-legged and you've got children sitting on you. So we want to model good physical contact, okay? No physical restraint, okay? We are not trained in physical restraint. The only proviso, if it's a life or death situation, then in that split second, but apart from that, there is no physical restraint. We might use the caring C of a hand to redirect. So if needed, so we go in like this, and we go, nope. You make yourself big. So hands are visible, caring C's. Okay, it's really effective because if you go in really positively. So we can redirect and we can be bold and redirect, but I've not physically restrained anybody. We can redirect, we can be present, but I've not gone. So it's getting that balance. If it is life and death, then that's different, okay? But caring C hands, redirect, make yourself big, have a presence, okay? Shouting, possibly in a situation like that, might heighten the situation. So actually being firm and positive rather than rah, might actually lift rather than we want to calm a situation down. So physical contact, yes, but we want to model good physical contact. In the pool, keep your arms and hands out the water. You might have children hanging on to you. Fine. If they're coming down the pool on the slide, there's ways of being able to scoop them up rather than grabbing them. If they're in a rubber ring, put your hands on top of the rubber ring. Just make yourself visible. Then you're just safeguarding yourself. You'll never be in a situation where you're going to be by yourself in the pool, but we're safeguarding ourselves, okay, keeping hands out, etc. Okay, dress code. This sounds kind of a bit petty, really, but actually it's about, again, modelling, okay, appropriate attire. Never going to put ourselves in a position where we're not appropriately dressed. So this is camp dress code. Modest camp attire for men and women. Shoulders and midriff must be covered. So no strappy tops, shoulders covered. And shorts knee length or just above. Right, so these would not be appropriate shorts for camp, as much as I love wearing them. Where's Hannah? Can you stand up? So you can see Hannah's she's pulling them down now. So Hannah's shorts are a bit lower, okay, just above the knee. Maybe you're a skirt person, that's fine. You might want to wear some shorts underneath, okay? Maybe not quite so long. If your skirt's kind of knee length, that's fine. But just think about what you might be doing on camp. Closed-toed trainers or hiking shoes, you may need to run. So no Crocs, no flip-flops, etc. The only time you can wear those is when you go to the pool. You don't know if your children are going to be runners. So again, we want to just make sure that we are ready and active. Modest swimwear, shorts, t-shirts, over costumes. So guys as well as girls, you must have a top on over your swim stuff, and girls, you must have shorts on additional. This is just from a drying the washing point of view. Please don't bring your heaviest cotton t-shirt because it takes forever to dry. Think about some sort of light clothing that you could put over the top because that's really helpful. Sleepwear, you're staying in dorms. Just think about appropriate sleepwear for you, for other people in your dorm. But also think about if the fire alarm went off in the middle of the night, you're going to be on that field, stood in a line with your family pod. Think about what you're wearing for your sleepwear. Emblems. You shouldn't be identifiable by any of the clothing that you wear. So whether it's got your surname on the back, whether it's, I don't know, a hockey or sports club you play for, or a school that you work in, or any sort of club that you do, there shouldn't be anything that identifies you. We are all known by our first names on camp, and that is it. Okay, so there shouldn't be anything that you can be traced back to. Now, I know that some people know people through church because some of our foster carers go to the church or use some sort of network. That's different. That's in a kind of an official cuppa, that's outside. But you shouldn't be traceable through what you're wearing. Okay. Just a couple of other things. Personal information. When you're having conversations with your children or that you've got, try not to share personal information, okay? Be real, be honest, okay? Don't make up a fairy story about yourself, okay? But, like, where do you work? What's your surname? Family, your home location, okay? You are just who you are, your first name. You're here on camp, there to support them, to love them. Be real in it, okay? If you're massively into Disney princesses, then obviously share that. But if not, Anna's going, no. But let's just be sensible about the information that you share about yourself on camp. Medications, you're staying in close quarters with the children. All medications will be handed into and checked in with the nurse. So when we come to commissioning service, there'll be a form for you to fill out. Mouthwash. Should not be in reach of children due to the alcohol content, whether that is real or perceived. So just being aware that is one of our kind of camp rules. Probably just leave it at home for the week. Might be a good idea. Okay. So before I move on to the week at camp, any particular questions about safeguarding at camp? Anything that's kind of flagged from this morning or anything? Questions, you can always come and see either me or Hannah at any point during this afternoon, or kind of when we come, you might think of something later. So we want to keep each other safe. Hannah's our safeguarding lead, I'm the deputy. Pastor Luke is our whistleblower. If you're not happy with how we are dealing with things, okay, then please do. But let's try and safeguard ourselves on camp by sticking to our camp rules as well. Okay. Moving on, the week at camp. Please bear with me if you have been to camp before, but you will know that it's very hard to describe to people at church, etc. What is camp? What do we do in the week? And if you're coming for the first time, this can often be kind of the most daunting thing. I'm not quite sure what I'm stepping into. So, on the Saturday, we will every member of staff that is coming to camp will meet for the commissioning service, a chance to worship, to pray over camp before we go. And I think is it Rabbiner again? Yep, so we're going to be at Rabbiner Baptist Church again. We'll then have lunch. We'll do a little bit of training together before we then travel to our secret location for camp. That will either be minibus, car, we will sort out the logistics of that, and there'll be some more information to come. Once we arrive, and everybody's arrived, because we may get a bit separated, we'll give you a venue tour, so you can work out where everything is, and then we'll have a whole group camp photo, which you might have seen from last year, was on the field, that's been up as a screensaver. We then have time to set up activity areas and get your stuff to your dorms, bigs to decorate the dorms. We're going to have, it's all kind of all hands on deck. Then we've got dinner, chance to pray over the site, create camper welcome signs, and then if there is time, and everyone was super fast last year, which meant that we could have a pool party or / both campfire. So up on the site there is a purpose-built campfire area, so we did s'mores up on the campsite, and there was also the pool party. But this is me, you then need to go to bed, okay, because it's great to enjoy time together, but actually we're there for the young people that are going to be turning up the next day, and if you're already tired and you're already grumpy, it's not great, okay, so getting some sleep. And also, you don't want to disturb the other people in your dorm, so we will put a bedtime, go to bed, okay, 7:30. Okay, because we want to have the best week. It's great to socialise and get to know each other, but also we've got to think about why we're there with camp. Okay, so on the Sunday, there will be a team of people that are up early. They come back to Cardiff to come and collect the kids at registration. So Hannah we will detail who's going to come, and everybody else gets a bit more of a lie-in with breakfast at 9 o'clock. We'll then have a meeting, prayer, and continue with preparation. So in the picture here, we've got people in the dining room. They're making their big camper signs. 12 o'clock, fingers crossed, the coach arrives. Hopefully. Yep, this is going to be on time. So praying, they're going to arrive at 12, not 1 or 2 or a little bit later. And we are going to go crazy for the big arrival. Okay, so there'll be camper signs, there'll be some balloons, everybody will be out to welcome the coach. And then you can see the back of Hannah there. She will then announce each child off the coach. And then there'll be a big cheer, or there'll be a silent cheer, because actually if it's a bit overwhelming for that child to come off the coach, Hannah will just let us know. So we might do a big loud cheer, or it might be a silent cheer, but we're still going to give them that welcome. They get introduced to their big. That's their first impression of camp. We're going to make them as welcome as possible. For some of them, no problem getting off. They've been to camp before. They want to high five everybody, etc. But there will be some children that this is a really big experience for. Okay, each camper will also have a photo with their big as they get off the coach. So this was a really nice picture with their big, with their signs. You can't read what the name on Chris's sign, but every child has a big sign with their name on. Chris's child didn't want to join him at that point to have his picture taken, but later on in the week we got a great picture of Chris and his child. So we'll have the balloon arch, we'll have the red carpet, we're going to treat them royally, and that was boom, straight printed off, ready to go in the photo books. And also, the activity centre had another copy where they made their photo frames. So hopefully, I think that's on the plan again. I think it is. Okay, so we make a big deal, but that's part of the welcome to camp. Okay, so Sunday schedule's a bit different. We have, once the children arrive and they get off the coach, we've got everybody off. We will have a group photo, so that will be staff and that will be young people. Now, I mentioned about young people being identifiable, so they will have some sort of mask or something they will hold in front of their face, and we will have a whole group photo. That again will go in their photo book, but it's a way to start off camp as a group together. There'll then be a welcome video. We teach the children the camp rules, so they know what is expected. Okay, we teach them about 2 deep. We teach them about not sitting on each other's beds, okay, because their bed is their safe space. So children don't go on other people's beds, and we don't go on their beds either. So there's things around. We teach them about if they've got a red lanyard, or if they've got a purple lanyard, who and different roles across camp. Then lunch, same caterers as last year. And then we have workshops. So in the afternoon, and I'll talk a bit more about workshops in a minute, we rotate around 4 different activities. Then we've got dinner, carnival. So first night of camp is always carnival, so there are big inflatables, and hopefully we'll get the candy floss machine going this year. Some music, chance to be as a group together in one big activity. Then we've got story time, lights out, and then we've got night shift happening. That's the first day. Okay. Now, just a little proviso, at some point during that day, particularly for the bigs, but family team as well, when the children are unpacking, we need to check that they haven't got additional phones, iPads, sweets, any other contraband that they think might be exciting to bring to camp. We'll just look after it in a safe place. They can have it back when they leave, but as you're unpacking, if you think there's anything there that actually they don't need that for camp, and it could be well looked after, there is a check at registration, but you can't pick up everything. So please, as you're checking, we'll find a place in the staff room that we can store that, label it up, and they can have it back at the end of camp. So just please do check. Okay, the schedule. This is only subject to change at Hannah's discretion. So we have a schedule that gives us boundaries for the week. The children and adults this year will also get a little schedule pack. It means that the young people know what's coming. They know that dinner is going to be at this time. They know there's going to be food. They know they're going to get a snack in the afternoon. They can work and plan. Okay, I'm going swimming here, then I'm going to the activity centre. They know the now and the next. And for quite a lot of our young people, that's really important because they do have additional needs. They do want routine. So to be able to share that with them. And you can refer to the schedule to say, oh, look, this is what's coming this afternoon. Okay. It's a boundary. It's not a recommendation. You need to be where you're supposed to be. Don't please arrive 10 minutes late. Okay, you want to be there. So if somebody's running a workshop, we want you to enjoy the best of the workshop. If something's happened, then we'll be on the radios and we'll know that. But if it's just because you were playing extra in the park, well, actually, you need to be there with your family pod. Okay, so please let's try and stick to the schedule. If there is a change, we will share that with you in a briefing during the day. Okay, now Monday to Wednesday, the schedule is pretty much the same. Breakfast is at 8, and if you've been to camp before, they'll be awake before 8, apart from the last day when you'll need to wake them up. So breakfast is at 8. There is loads of space on camp that you might, I know people have ended up on the swings in the play area before breakfast, and that's fine, but you will need to stay as a family pod. Okay, after breakfast we have breakfast club, which is in the main hall. Then we have challenge zone, where we'll be out somewhere on the site, and there'll be a team challenge. So in your family pod, there'll be a challenge for you to do. And then we have either swimming or the activity centre free time. So the boys and girls will never swim at the same time. Girls will swim, boys will do activity or free time, activity centre, and then the next day it will be the opposite way round. Okay, so the boys and girls never swim at the same time. We then have J Zone, which again is in the main hall. So we've got some teaching, we've got some Bible stories. There'll always be a theme for the day. And then it's lunchtime, 12 o'clock. So nice early lunch. After lunch, we have something called 30-30 time. So this is kind of downtime. So our camp day is structured based on research. So we have downtime. It's really good to have downtime. So things like colouring. It's not running around time. Playing with Play-Doh. Playing with something. Maybe playing a little card game. Sitting down together. Okay, doing an activity. Just laying on the beds and having a little quick 30-minute nap. Not a problem. Okay, we do have this year a couple of boxes for 30-30 time that you can come and take some stuff out with you. There are some scissors. scissors in the box. Whenever we have scissors on camp, we always count them out and we count them back in. I don't think they're particularly sharp scissors, but they're still scissors in themselves. So we will, if you as a family pod decide you're going to take some scissors, just make sure you've got all the scissors back that you've taken. And then we move on to the workshops. Okay, so 1 till 5, just after 5 o'clock. 4 different workshops, and we rotate round them. Then we've got dinner club, so we're back in the main hall. Chance to regather, dinner, and then there is an evening activity, story time, lights out, night shifts. So that pattern follows through Monday to Wednesday. Now there's quite a few terms in there. So breakfast club, J-zone, dinner club, all happen in the main hall. Okay, and that main hall gets decorated as to the theme of the week. Okay, you can just make Hannah out standing in the balloon arch on the stage. So the front there is the stage, there's projector, etc., and then we've got all the seating and the chairs. It's a chance, this is a place where we as camp can gather together. Okay, and there's a little bit more freedom of movement in the space. So we have something called Des Eyes, designated eyes. They'll be wearing purple caps, they'll be on radios, they'll be on the door, which is kind of here. So it just means there's a bit more flow. There's lots of adults in the room. You don't have to be with your pod at all times, but everybody's in the room. These 3 activities are all chance to model good character, Bible stories, theme for the day, teachable moments, photos, memories that have happened, so the slideshow of pictures of the kids at camp because they can see it there and then. So real good chance kind of to come together. Challenge zone. The coach, now this year we don't have a designated coach. So what we have got are some willing volunteers that are going to take on that coach role. So they are going to run some challenges for us in your family pods to be out and about on a theme. So it could be you're on a scavenger hunt, it could be that you are playing stuck in the mud as a whole big group in different colours, etc. This is a time to develop teamwork, team skills. Often there's a teachable moment in there, making memories. So it's again, everybody comes together as a camp, but you'll be working in your family pods. Okay, 30-30 time I've just mentioned about, that downtime after lunch. Okay, afternoon activities. So we have 4 coloured family groups, okay? Red, yellow, green and blue. Throughout an afternoon, you will cycle through every activity. So there'll be the activity centre, swim/free time, an energy activity, and then engage. So our energy activity, things like slip and slide, so you're going to get wet and soapy. Climbing, inflatables. Becky's back for Move to the Groove again. So that was our dance workshop, so she's back to come and do that with us again. Whereas the engage activities are a bit calmer. We've got a paint workshop, we've got some junk modelling, we've got some animals and reptiles coming back. So they're a bit calmer in terms of the workshop, but it gives us a balance for the afternoon. And you'll cycle through the 4 different activities. At some point in there, your coloured group will also have snack, but that'll be on your schedule. Okay, activity centre, amazing. Amazing, amazing. So it's set up to provide variety and choice in a non-competitive environment. It's about the process, not the product. Okay, and we see children, particularly boys, it's like they're different children. They're just sat engrossed in what they're doing in the moment, whether that's kinetic sand, whether they're on the pottery wheel, just an incredible space to be. So if you're not a big and you're not rotating round and you get chance to go and spend some time in there, please do. Okay, if you haven't managed by the end of the week, please say, can we switch around a bit? Because very special place to be. So in the morning, there's chance to be in there, and in the afternoon, every group is rotated round to spend time in the activity centre. Okay, Ellie's not here, but lifeguard Ellie is our resident lifeguard. She will make sure that the campers are safe, but extra eyes, okay, are always very useful, particularly as quite a lot of our children are non-swimmers when they come. They've not had the opportunities that we might consider as normal to be able to spend time in a pool, to be able to learn to swim they've just not had those experiences. Please don't let anybody get in the pool until Ellie says go. You might be on pool side, but Ellie controls that room, that area, but please be helpful. Big or staff is about having fun, but be mindful what's happening under the water. So we've talked about staff having hands out of the water, but just be mindful, children to children, what's going on under the water, okay? Just be aware. Right, starfish dance. I'm gonna ask everybody to stand up. Just give your arms and legs a bit of a shake off. Okay, so we did this last year. As the kids get out of the pool, they have to come down a set of steps. And those steps get very wet and slippery. So what we did last year, before they even come out of the door to come down the steps, we made them all get into a starfish position. And then we did the starfish swoosh. So what you do with your caring seas, you go shoo, and you get rid of all the water that is on your arms. And then you do the other one. Shoo, get rid of all that water. You do it to yourself. The kids do it to themselves. Just to make that very clear. And then hands down the legs, down the front and then down the back. I can't tell you how much water we got rid of before we left poolside, okay? Because it just helps, again, with health and safety of children moving down steps. The change rooms at the bottom of the steps, the pool's at the top of the steps. Okay, if we can just remember to do the starfish, and they can do it nice and wide before you get off the poolside. Yep, nice bit of sound interaction would be great, but it's just helpful for just clearing the water. Okay, you can sit down now. Bear with me. With the sound. Yeah, needed, definitely. Okay, evening activities. Sunday night is carnival, so there'll be big inflatables. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit better than last year because we got a bit wet and slippy. And I think the best, I haven't got the photo, but Grandpa versus Grandpa, oh my goodness, on the bungees was amazing last year. I think it had everybody entertained. So please feel free to get involved but just be aware that if it's you versus a child, okay, it's a little bit, but they love it when you get involved, okay? Yeah, they will ask you, will you race me down there? Yep, okay, we just need to make sure exits are clear, that you're not going to take anybody out in the process. But yeah, they love it when you get involved. And also, again, the evening activities are a space where everybody comes together and we have designated eyes around the outside. So being aware of where your children are is great, but it's a chance for them to interact with staff across camp, okay, and which they absolutely love. Monday, our themed evening this year is to infinity and beyond. So that means you can dress up as anything space, alien. If you want to go Buzz, you could Buzz Lightyear, but basically you could be a star, you could be a planet, anything kind of themed space kind of wise is, so you just think about what you're going to dress up as. You can go to town or you can be quite just to some stars. Fine. So that's our evening activity. Tuesday, Give It a Go show. So last year we changed the name from the talent show to Give It a Go show. Great. Okay, we will go mad for whatever the children get up on the stage and do, and we'll have our judging panel with their 10s again. Great evening. They always surprise us with what their talent they are going to show. And just be aware you might get roped in to join them as part of that Giving It a Go show. Yes, I'm just imagining. Okay, Wednesday night, birthday party for everybody. It's not their birthday, but we are going to celebrate them as if it was their birthday. So there'll be presents, there'll be cake, there'll be party games. A great way to celebrate them for who they are. Oh yeah, no blowers. No blowers. Okay, yeah. No party blowers. Again, that in the hall, with the dining hall, that can be quite overwhelming, where it's normally been quite a calm space. Yes, there's noise in there because people moving around for dinner, but to suddenly be up the ante for a birthday party actually can be really quite overwhelming. So, yeah, good job on the blowers removal. Okay. Thursday schedule. So this is the day that we go home. Breakfast, normal time, 8 o'clock. Breakfast club, challenge zone, and then camp memories and graduation. We have a large number of children that will be graduating this year. So not only are you going to need time to recover, it's going to take a bit of time for that graduation to happen. So we've tweaked that session. So we've got camp memories, so there'll be a photo montage, there'll be some highlights of the week, and then the graduation. You'll then have, so big time is chance for the bigs to spend some time in their family pod, find a space somewhere on camp, a bit of kind of downtime together. And then we have a closing ceremony. So we will come together as a camp and we do a stone ceremony, and I will give you a new name. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. After that, we have lunch. We'll depart camp on the coach. So on the way back, the bigs will travel with their young people on the coach. On the way to camp, the registration team will bring the children and the bigs will meet them off the coach. On the way back, it's a bit of a race. So the coach leaves with the bigs. Slow drive. So coach leaves with the bigs, with the children, with Hannah and a couple of other people. Everyone else then gets in the cars, the van, the minibus. We do the last clear up of camp, and we have to get back to Cardiff before the coach does. So we don't want to speed, we don't want to race, but we need to be there before the coach gets there. Okay, when we then arrive back in Cardiff, we will create a tunnel to enable the children to come off the coach. We've had them for a week. We don't want to lose anybody between the coach and getting back into church, into Rabina, and then they come back in. We will do some camp songs. They'll be presented to their caregiver. We're going to big them up. Okay, we're going to say why we enjoyed them being with us at camp this year. They've been amazing, etc., etc. The campers will then depart, and then we as a group of body of Purple Army will have a welcome home dinner. That time, okay, please don't rush off. That time is so important because it's a time to spend together, thanking God for the week, whatever ups and downs we have had, okay, for our children, but also it's a time where we can share in our experiences of the week. Those people that have been to camp before know it's very difficult to explain camp to somebody who's not experienced it. It's also a chance for you to have a bit of a weep, a royal weep. You might have held it together all week, but it's a chance just to have some space to take time to reflect on what's happened over the week. Okay, so coming back to closing ceremony, we asked the bigs. They already know, I think already, who their young people are, and they're already praying over those young people. Okay, and in the closing ceremony, we give the children a new name, something that God's been prompting us over the week as to what that is. We do ask that the bigs research their campers' name, then their actual name, and is there any spiritual reference, and pray for them over the week. And I know from having been a big over a number of years, you go to camp and you think, oh God, I've got no name. But do you know what? God drops a name and it becomes really clear by the end of the week. And often, there's like last year, the names, the bigs don't see it because they've all got their individual names. Then we put the stones together, and there was definitely a theme running through last year about having self-confidence, about being who you are. There was definitely a theme running through. And so we're asking that we pray that God reveals a new name for that child, and it's positive and affirming to go on their stone. Just because you're not a big doesn't mean that you can't be praying over. And I'm sure the bigs, if God speaks to you and he says the new name for this child or etc., please have a conversation with their big, because you might have the same name and it might just reaffirm, okay, or it might be something that actually the big would be really appreciative of. Okay, so please do. I'm going to get you to stand up in a minute and move around. There are 4 bags. So if you've got a bag on your table, what I'd like you to do is you're going to empty out what's in here. Everybody that is on our staff list has a stone with their name on it. The name, their actual name, is in black. And their name, I've done a bit of Googling, so please don't be offended. Okay, so I've done a bit of Googling. There's a stone for everybody who's in the room, but I would like you to empty the stones out, go and take one and see if you can find that person. Now, it's your real name that is on the staff list. So, Chris, you're Christine. Beth, you are Bethan. Lee is Kerry's Lee, so I didn't know that. So if you've got a bag on your table, and if you haven't got a bag, please go and grab a stone from a different table. There should be one for everybody, okay? And those people that aren't here, there's still a stone for them. So please empty, and if you don't know the person, then let's see if we can find them together. So you can hear the kind of delight, or maybe not delight, depending on what you're going to just by somebody giving you something, okay? And guarantee you might have them in your hands, etc. We see the kids, and some of the rocks, to be fair, are not this small. These were out the garden. They're like big stones, and they've got this. They're tiny little child, and they've got this massive stone in their pocket. But are they going to put it down? No, because that's their new name. Just coming back to 30-30 time and free time in the morning. The grandparents have a cabin. It's lovely. So in the grandparents' cabin.
If you're a big, you could lie down in there while they play with the kids. It's brilliant.
So there is a cabin. There's like beanbags. There's like drawing. There's painting. There's fairy lights. Grandma and Grandpa's cabin, the grandparents' cabin, is another space you can go during free time in the morning and then during 30-30 time or free time in the afternoon. So you've got another space that you could go to. We try and stay out the dorms during free time. 30-30 time, they might need a little kind of sleep on the beds, that's fine, particularly if you've got really younger children. But yeah, 30-30 time, free time in the morning, free time in the afternoon, then Grandma and Grandpa's cabin is definitely a spot to go to. You'll get a little bit of respite if you are a pig, but also it's just a lovely place to be. Okay, so closing ceremony, we give them the stones. They also get their memory books then, so they can take those back on the coach with them. Okay, arriving back in Cardiff, as I said, everybody else tries to beat the coach back. We will make a tunnel to guide the campers in. We'll sing songs, and we will big up the children as to who we have had in front of their caregivers. We don't know who's coming. Well, the registration and the collection team know who's coming to collect, but as bigs, you won't know. You don't know if it's their social worker. You don't know if it's their actual parents or is it their foster carers, etc. So we want to be as positive as we can and big them up in front of those caregivers. Okay. Time, there's Hannah in the middle as being a starfish. Of our volunteers, our welcome home dinner is a chance to thank you as volunteers, time of praise, thanksgiving, time to serve those who have been served. So we have a team that come in and they serve us who have been serving the young children, the young people, and time to have a royal weep in a safe space. So just time to kind of just let it go. What have you been holding in during the week? Okay, so, or has already started to come out during graduation. So what to bring to camp? Okay, first of all, attitude. A good attitude, being flexible, okay. Having a positive attitude is needed for all of us at camp, and we need to try and maintain that throughout the week. The more tired we get, etc., the harder that's going to be. But actually, blessed are the flexible. The other thing I'm going to say to you is before you come to camp, get some rest. I've been talking to lots of people over the weeks, whether it's been, and it sounds like it's been a really hard year for lots of people. And I think you just give yourself time and space before you come to camp to be, I'm going to be present at camp. That doesn't mean to say that you're not in contact with people at home, but it's been hard for people in lots of different ways. And just give your self time and space before you come to camp, just to put yourself in the right frame. Okay, packing. Enough clothes for 5 to 6 days based on the dress code. Okay, closed-toed shoes to wear around camp. You can wear flip-flops, Crocs, etc. when you're going to the swimming pool. Excuse me, that's fine. Raincoat, a must. Swimming costumes with shorts and tops to go over the top. Water bottle, coffee cup. Something that's got a lid on it. Please put your name on it, but don't put your surname. Okay, so just your first name, and if there's so we've got 2 Sarahs, put Sarah H or Sarah, yeah, so just so that it's identifiable. Okay, we'll also try and put the board up again that tells us what you like to drink, how you like your drink. Do you like a black coffee? Do you like tea with 1 sugar, white, etc.? Water bottle, again, we give the kids water bottles with their names on, but please, again, make sure that you have a water bottle that you can refill each morning. We want to keep you hydrated. We want you to be the best that you can to be. Your costume for our Infinity and Beyond evening, a watch, but it's not linked to your phone. Okay, so if you have a smart watch, then again, that's got location services on it. We could say, yep, you could turn them off, but actually let's not put ourselves in a position where somebody could question, oh, you've got a watch on, it's a smart watch. Just don't wear it that week. Okay, wear a nice, simple watch. Okay, that means that you can tell the time. Sleeping bag, bedding, pillow. So on the site where we're staying, they provide us a sheet to go on the mattress, but you will need to provide your other bedding. So a pillow and sleeping bag works pretty well. Towels, swimming towel. Again, this is from someone, and I think Anna helped me again with loads of washing. No, Sarah helped me last year with loads of washing. If you bring the biggest, heaviest towel for swimming, it takes forever to dry. We can't control what the young people bring, but think about what you bring in your bags for swimming. Okay. Yes, you need a big enough towel to get dry on, but it doesn't need to be massive. Okay, and it doesn't need to be really, really heavy. We were lucky last year, that it was quite windy, so stuff did dry, but some stuff was so heavy and wet that it took a lot longer than what it needed to. Obviously, toiletries, sunscreen, baby wipes are pretty helpful, particularly if you've had your face painted, etc. A torch, useful for moving around, and if you're in a dorm, you don't want to put the main light on and disturb everybody, you can just use your torch. Night shift activities, there'll be a bit more of an update. We're hoping that we've got some people coming in to help us with night shift, so we won't have to do as many night shifts as we have done previously. Bigs, some dorm decorations. So we decorate the dorms as a group to reflect the themes. If you want to bring 30/30 activities, a little mini notebook that slots in your thing is quite useful for taking some notes. And a Sharpie is quite useful for labelling things as well. Oh, it's stopped now, isn't it? I've broken it, I've dropped it. Okay, right, we are just about finished. So this is what I would like you to think. You're going to think first, then you're going to share it with the person next to you. So one place you can go to fill out a disclosure form. 2 camp rules to keep you safe. 3 daily activities. 4 evening activities and 5 things that you might pack in your bag for camp. So just have a think about those things yourself. And then I will get you to turn and talk to the person next to you. What are you going to do? So 1 place to go to fill out a disclosure form, 2 camp rules to keep you safe, 3 daily activities, 4 evening activities, and 5 items to pack in your bag for camp. Okay, turn and talk to the person near you in a little group. Okay, right. So can somebody give me 1 place we go to fill out a disclosure form? The garage, okay. 2 camp rules to keep us safe. Too deep? No sitting on laps, nice. Okay, 3 daily activities. Swimming. Lunch, okay, lunch. I think we'll take lunch. Just as a little kind of thing on lunch, we put the menu up each day as to what's happening. Why do we do that? Well, that helps the children know what's coming. It helps them to know that they don't need to hoard food because they are going to get breakfast, they're going to get lunch and they can see what's coming, they're going to get tea, they're going to get snack. If, as an aside, they don't like, I mean, the food was amazing, they don't like the food, we will find them something. So whether that's toast, whether that's a sandwich, but don't publicise that to everybody, because otherwise we might have a lot of food left over. But if you notice that actually they're not really eating anything, have a chat with them. What do they like to eat? What can we get them? Okay. So we've always got things in the background that we can feed that back. Okay. So we had swimming. We had lunch. Okay. Another daily activity. J-Zone. Go on. Activities room. Yep. So loads going on. Evening activities. Birthday party. Give it a go. Carnival. Infinity and beyond. Nice. And then 5 items to pack for camp. A watch, a torch, sleeping bag. T-shirt to go over your costume. Toothbrush. Important. No mouthwash. On an aside to that, if we find that our young people have come to camp and they're missing something, just not a problem. Just let us know and we'll get it. We've got a big container of some spare stuff, but if it's something that they haven't got and they need it, we'll sort it. Okay? Ed goes with some very strange shopping lists sometimes. But it's amazing what he comes back with. So, okay, so please don't feel like, so if they've come without a swimming costume, let us know, we'll source one. If they've come without socks, okay, we've got loads of them, there you go. Yeah, so, oh no, we don't want them to have we want them to have, so Ed, question?
Another thing to pack for camp, I don't know if it's on the list. If you are mainly sleeping in one of the guy dorms, bring earplugs.
Okay. Yeah, you don't know if you're going to be with a snorer, do you?
There's a handful. There's probably about half the people here.
When do you start coming?
It's pretty wild. He's the worst.
Could be talking about
He's
himself.
not the only one.
Okay,
I don't
so
know what goes on in the girls' dorms. I don't know how much you're snoring in the nights, but the boys, it really can mess you up.
okay, so earplugs for dorms.
And then you wake up like...
Brian.
I know we have some people coming in and helping with night shifts, but it always happens, someone has to sub in or just be prepared just in case and have like some puzzles.
Yeah. So if you are on night shift, you can't take your phone in. Okay, you can't take a computer in, you can't do anything. So it's literally, you need something, your book to read, you need a torch. I know I write about my diary for the next year, something that is going to keep you awake. to get you through the hours of night shifts, but something that you can do that isn't going to disturb the people that are in the dorm, but that you can do. Okay. Any questions, Ed?
Write the names on things.
Yes, please come to camp with names on things. If you're bringing a bag, so the kids get rucksacks, but as a big or as another member of staff, you might want to bring a rucksack to keep your water bottle in.
Some of the bigs carry a bag around
Yeah.
and they leave it.
Please put your name on it. Even if you know what colour pod you're in as well. So please identify, but obviously first names only, and we can get stuff back to you. Towels and clothes as well. Please get your Sharpie out and label your clothes as much as labelling the children's, then we can make sure we can get stuff back to you. Particularly, we had some where there were like 3 towels exactly the same last year. Please just label everything, and then we can get stuff back to you, and then it makes the week a little bit easier. Cool.
Are you wearing purple t-shirt all the time?
We wear our purple t-shirts when the kids arrive. Commissioning service, when the kids arrive, and then and the last day we wear them. Yeah. But yes, you try not to get them too mucky in the process. Yeah. Cool. Do you want this?